Well, again, welcome to PAC 130 Pflugerville Joint Scouting Night. It's one of those. It's our first ever virtual Joint Scouting Night, so we're glad that those of you who are here could join us. We are going to record it in case you want to share it or look over any of the information. I'll send you a follow-up email after this. So my name, I guess Eric, you're going to have to click for me. My name's Carl Guthrie. I'm the Cub Master of PAC 130. I have a second grader. His name's Jackson Guthrie. He's in Mott Elementary. I think his teacher is Miss Lisa Hughes. And you know, we're all dealing with Zoom overload, I'm sure. But I'm glad that we're able to talk to you. Jackson's been in Scout since he was a kindergartner, and he's coming in now. He's coming in now as a wolf, so we're excited about wolf. We have Mr. Matt Turner on here, who's his wolf den leader, and we have Eric Barner, who's going to speak tonight as well. Eric, tell me a little bit about yourself.
Yeah, I'm Eric Barner. As he said, I am the PAC committee chair, new to that role just this year. Jacob, who I just put on mute, which is one of those buttons that is great to have, would be even better to have in real life some days. Jacob is my son. You'll see that picture there, and we caught one of the bluegills just down at the Falcon Point pond, just down on the north side of Falcon Point not too long ago. Jacob is in second grade, just like Jackson, and part of the Wolf Den, there again with Mr. Matt as our leader. He is over at Murchison, and Jacob has Darcy Johnson as his teacher in second grade.
Cool. And well, we've got a few scouts that are going to help and lead us in a few of things. Every time we start a meeting and we're going to go and have an opening ceremony, we're going to offer the pledge and do the scout oath and scout law. So I believe, is it Jacob that's going to lead us in this? Was that correct?
Correct.
Awesome. Jacob, it's yours, buddy. First, actually, let's teach everybody. If you have any of your scouts with you, we do have the Cub Scout salute. So we do hold our two fingers, kind of like if you made a peace sign, but you put them together and you put it on your eyebrow or on the rim of your cap with your right arm. So we're going to go ahead, Jacob.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, for liberty and justice for all.
Awesome. Great job, Jacob. And what we do generally, since we're on Zoom, you can't all cheer or applaud the kids. We kind of do the sign language. We'll go ahead and cheer for them just like that. So great job, buddy. All right, then the next we're going to have the Scout Oath. And who do we have for the Scout Oath? I believe that was Easton's going to lead us in the Scout Oath, correct?
Yes, sir.
Okay. We have the Cub Scout sign. You hold up the two fingers, but spread them apart like ears that are listening.
On my honor, I'll do my best to do my duty to God and my country and obey the Scout law to help other people at all times, to keep myself physically strong, mentally awake, and morally straight.
Good job.
Great job, buddy. Great job. And then we have Evie, who's going to lead us in the Scout law. And we'll do the Scout sign again. Unmute your mic, Evie.
You.
All right.
Okay. A scout is trustworthy, loyal, helpful, friendly, courteous, kind, obedient, cheerful, thrifty, brave, clean, and reverent.
Great job. Thank you, Evie. Good job. And then Julian, what's the Scout motto?
Do your best.
Great job, buddy. Thank you so much. Julian's one of our new first grade. He's a new tiger. Julian and Evie,
Hi.
one of our Wolf Scouts. Hey, buddy. So good. We appreciate everybody doing that. And then, you know, a scout is reverent. One of the things in scouting is we do want, you know, to recognize and welcome all faiths. So in order to be inclusive of all, we're going to go ahead and just have, you know, a moment of reflection of, so please just, you know, say a prayer or reflect in your own way. Awesome. Well, thank you again, everybody. If you do have any questions, if you're familiar with Zoom, maybe you're using it in school or using it at work, there's a chat box that you can open up and ask questions. You can either send them to where everyone can see them, or you can do a private chat just to myself or to Eric. I think Eric's going to show up as the host, so Eric Barner can handle and help with those questions. We'll also have a Q&A at the end of this, so we'll probably talk for about 10-15 minutes, if that, and go on. I do want to introduce PAC 130 to you. You know, we're actually chartered. All units in Scouting are chartered by some organization. We're chartered by St. Paul's Episcopal Church, Pflugerville Parkway. We started the PAC with a few families back in 2018. Our PAC's actually a family program, is what they call it. And not that Scouting ever was not for the family, but we actually introduced girls into our PAC. So we do welcome boys and girls into our dens and have a co-ed family program. We serve the Mott School District and the surrounding areas. I will say that our kids come from 4 different schools right now. I think we have definitely from Mott, Rolane, Riojas. We've had scouts from Deering, Murchison. We've had a few from there. So, and I know that we've got a few folks on this call from other schools. Someone from a charter school. We've got a Highland Park, and I think there was one other. But you know, we're glad to have y'all. Right now, we have about 25 scouts from those schools in the surrounding East Pflugerville neighborhoods. And what we're going to do is I'll show you just a brief video, just a few minutes. It's kind of an overview of the Scouting program and sort of the top 5 questions that you'll run into. You have to share your sound, Eric.
The audio okay?
No, you got to share the sound.
Just a sec.
Okay, maybe that title needs some work. But if you are watching this video, chances are you have some questions about Cub Scouts.
That's right. And today we're going to talk all about Cub Scouts and answer some common questions parents like you have. So let's get started. Question 1. What is Cub Scouts?
I'm glad you asked. Cub Scouts is filled with fun adventures and making friends. That is what your child sees in Cub Scouting. For you as a parent, Cub Scouting aims to build citizenship, character, personal fitness, and prepares them to be future leaders in our communities. The magic of Cub Scouting is that it is a game with a purpose. Cub Scouts and their families participate in fun activities that are designed to achieve these aims. What may seem like a simple activity may in fact be a method used to teaching your child about science or the environment. All of these things make Cub Scouting fun for the family while making awesome memories that will last a lifetime.
Question 2. Who is Cub Scouts for? Cub Scouting is for boys and girls in the kindergarten through 5th grade. You and your child will be welcomed into a small group of other families who have children in the same grade to form what is called a den. Your den will be the focus of activities, get-togethers, and celebrations. All the different grades in the community form what is called a pack.
Now question 3. What about meetings and activities? Depending on where you live, each den and pack schedule will be slightly different. Generally, dens tend to meet twice a month, where your scout will make new friends, play purposeful games, and learn new things. Then all the dens in the pack come together usually once a month for larger pack activities and events. Cub Scouts participate in tons of different activities, including games, projects, skits, songs, outdoor activities, trips, and service projects. Besides being fun, these activities offer opportunities for growth, achievement, and family involvement.
Question 4 is about adventures. Once you join Cub Scouting, your child will start on a journey of fun adventures. In fact, adventures is what we call the different activities your child will do. Adventures in Cub Scouting are grade specific with content designed to be age appropriate. Adventures range from cooking, science, and of course, the outdoors. Many Cub Scout families also enjoy camping, but don't worry, you don't have to be a survivalist. Remember those small groups of other family members from the same grade level called dens? Well, each grade level is working towards earning a special patch. This patch is called a rank, and each grade level has a different rank they work toward. Kindergartners work towards earning the lion rank, first graders towards the tiger rank, second graders work towards wolf, third graders work towards bear, fourth graders work towards weebelows, and we know that's a funny word, and lastly, fifth graders work towards arrow of light.
Yeah, and to earn their rank, your child will simply complete adventures with their den. And no worries if you miss a meeting, because as a parent, you can do most anything that might have been done in a den at home.
Okay, our last question is about cost. How much does it cost to be a Cub Scout? Like most youth activities, there are initial startup costs you can expect. This includes a registration fee, one-time joining fee, pack dues, along with the Cub Scout uniform and your child's handbook.
Now, we know you might have some more questions, so to discover more about Cub Scouting, go to scouting.org/programs/Cub-Scouts. There you will learn more about the program and see the resources to get you started.
I think we need to listen to the music for the next 20 seconds.
Yeah, I'll pass it on to you, Eric.
All right, perfect. Thank you, Mr. Carl. So yeah, as mentioned in that video, the packs are the groups of the boys and girls that are all of the different ages, ranging from kindergartners at 5 all the way up to the 5th graders, 10 and 11-year-olds. And as they mentioned, they do the age-appropriate activities. These age-appropriate activities are broken typically into the dens, which are normally 6 to 10, combination of boys and girls at that same grade level. Their den leader, along with the adults that are part of the what we call Akilas, the kind of guide or the parent of the scout themselves. These adventures are designed to really build the character and the confidence in the scouts. And there's going to be more details on that in just a minute. For instance, last year, Jacob as a tiger, we did magic tricks. We did the 1-foot hike where you go into your backyard and you just look at everything that you see in a 1 square foot instance for any of the bugs that are in there, any of the individual flowers or plants that are growing inside of there as well. They also teach bicycle safety, and that's one of the other adventures for making sure that you're wearing your helmet, making sure that you are checking your bicycle, and how to do just basic, let's look over the bicycle before we ride to make sure that the bicycle is safe. And we also went over to the Falcon Point community pool and did water safety. So not only are we having fun in these individual den activities, they're also learning their life events to be able to make sure that they are safe, courteous, and stepping into possible leadership positions as time goes on. On always the motto is do your best, as you heard there at the end of the introductions. Even if you're not able to accomplish the individual activity, we just ask that the scouts do what they can and ask for assistance as needed. So scouting is fun with a purpose. The mission of Boy Scouts of America is to prepare the young people to make the ethical and moral choices over their lifetime by instilling in them the values of the Scout Oath and the Scout Law, which you heard earlier. The whole aim is make sure that we're developing the character, the citizenship, the personal fitness, and the leadership for them to be able to be better community members. Now, some of the methods that you do see as scouting or that you learn as part of scouting is living the ideals. And this is where the Scout values are really embedded in the Scout Oath and the Scout Law, the Cub Scout model, as well as the Cub Scout sign, handshake, and the salute. These practices help establish and reinforce the program's values in Scouts and the leaders who guide them. Belonging to a den, the den, as I mentioned, is that group of 6 to 8 children who are in the same grade. It's the place where scouting starts. In the den, the Cub Scouts develop new skills and their interests, and they learn to do their best, not just for themselves, but for the overall den as well. We mentioned advancement and the different ranks that they will earn. This is the recognition that is important to everyone. The advancement plan comes and provides fun for the Scout. It gives them a sense of personal achievement as they earn their individual badges, and strengthens family understanding as adult family members and their den leader work with them on advancement projects. That family involvement, you've heard that a couple times as well. Whether it's a Cub Scout who's living with 2 parents or 1, in a foster family or any other relatives, their family is an important part of Scouts. Parents and adult family members provide leadership and support for Cub Scouting and ensure that the Scouts have a good experience in the program itself. In the Cub Scout packs, the Aquila is the symbol of wisdom, authority, and leadership. The Aquila is anyone who acts as a leader to the Scouts. And this can be the active parental figures, the den and pack leadership, etc. The activities that the scouts go through, that 5th bullet point down, this is where the scouts are participating in a very large array of different activities, those games, the projects, the skits, the stunts, the songs, outdoor activities like camping that you typically hear the scouts most enjoy, all the way to different trips to locations and service projects. Besides being fun, these are activities that offer the opportunities for growth, achievement, and family involvement. Next is serving the neighborhood. Cub Scouting focuses on home in the neighborhood. It helps scouts to strengthen their connection to their local communities, which in turn support their growth and development. The Scout Day is at the sponsor organization, as Carl mentioned up front, St. Paul's Episcopal Church there on Pflugerville Parkway. And this is where the scouts will participate in welcoming the congregation, adopting a trail maybe in Pflugerville Lake, where we'll go out and we'll make sure that that section of the lake is cleaned up and free of litter, all the way to individually just walking around the neighborhood and picking up litter to make sure that the neighborhood is a nicer place to be. That last point there is the uniform. You'll see everybody on the call wearing their uniforms today, whether that's the hat, the sash, or the different badges that they have on their individual uniform. The Scout uniform serves a dual purpose, demonstrating the Scout is part of a team and showing the individual achievements. The Scouts wear the badges and the loops that they've earned around their belt loops. Wearing the uniform to meetings and activities also encourages neat appearance and practicing of the good behavior. Carl, back to you. You're muted, Mr. Carl. You're still muted, Mr. Carl.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I said some great stuff too. Y'all missed it. So all of that stuff, if your kids are listening, we're probably like, oh man, what is this? And so those are things as parents we want to hear. You know, it's what my parents wanted to hear when I joined Scouts a long time ago. And the stuff that we have planned, we did a lot of this last year. Obviously, some of it, you know, we had to postpone because of COVID and staying in. But, you know, kids were talking about before we started doing some rocket launches. You build model rockets, we launch them into the air. We have the Pinewood Derby race, my all-time favorite. It's a classic. You build the car and you race it down the track against all your other fellow scouts. We're in parades. We do bike rodeo, Scout Olympics. Shoot BB guns and bows and arrows. We're even planning on next summer sleeping on an aircraft carrier in Corpus Christi on the USS Lexington. So these are opportunities. These are events, activities that, you know, a lot of times kids would never do if it wasn't for joining a scouting program. Just a little bit, just to kind of go back real quick, you know, I grew up in the program. I meant to say this earlier. I started when I was a Tiger Cub in first grade in the 80s and made it to Eagle Scout, worked summer camps, did a lot of those things. And those are just, you know, definitely opportunities that I'll forever have and that we're forever going to be unique, you know, to scouting. So we do have in the next slide some pictures of what we've done. You know, this is out at Camp Tom Wooten. It's the Boy Scout camp out in Bastrop County. We had a really great fall camp out last year, and I say it was in fall. It was in what, early mid-September. It was still in the 90s when we camped. I promise you have my guarantee. We camp later in the actual fall now, so that it's not so hot. It's much more comfortable. But the kids love the pool and the slide. You know, the next thing that you can see are our meetings on the next slide. We don't just...
Carl, just real quick, talking about that camping hike, one of the badges that they did earn, because it did end up being over 100 degrees when we're down there, they earned the Texas Toast Badge. So there's a specific patch that the scouts have now earned who went on that hike because of how warm it was. And I think everybody's favorite part was that bottom right-hand corner picture where we went swimming and had that great slide so the kids can actually cool down.
Oh yeah. No, the Texas Toast Badge we definitely earned. And, you know, here are our meetings. They're not just sitting around listening to adults talk. You know, we have one of our leaders for our Halloween was dressed like well, I say a crawfish. I guess it was technically a lobster costume, but no, he dressed up. Our Cub Master, our past Cub Master Ken was a magician or a vampire. I'm trying to remember. He knighted our scouts when they earned some awards in one meeting. And then every February is the anniversary of scouting. So we threw a birthday party and brought in a mad scientist. So really, really great things that the kids, you know, they're actually learning something, but they're having so much fun. They don't, it's, you know, we're tricking them into learning some great things. And then the next slide, we're adaptable, and we'll talk more about sort of our COVID plan in a minute. But we did a graduation and awards ceremony that was just simply a drive-through. The kids came in, we made a big deal, we gave them awards, they graduated to the next STEM level. So, you know, we try to think outside the box, and, you know, Pinewood Derbies, this is what it's about. Now, is that a video, Eric? I think this next slide might be a video of the Pinewood Derbies going down the track.
This one is not a video. This one's just a picture. And then the next one's the rocket launch.
Cool. And that's Mr. Matt had a nice rocket that went nice and high, and he had some other ones. That was probably our best slow-mo shot of a rocket launch. So that was pretty cool.
And with that, on the side, each of the scouts build their own rockets as well, and they get multiple chances to be able to fly them up into the air. We did that one at the Northeast Metro Park right there at 130 and Pecan Avenue last year. And then there is a video of the races last year too.
And I don't know how that came through for everybody, but the kids all build with their parents, build the different cars and race them. And we had a whole Sunday afternoon. We actually did this one in the Blackhawk Amenity Center right here off of Spido. And, you know, we've been successful enough to outgrow that space. We meet most of the time when we can have a space in the, you know, when we can meet again in our whole group. We'll meet at Mott Elementary in the cafeteria. But we can still use the amenity centers here and in the different neighborhoods. But that's our primary locations. And we'll talk more about that. We do have some scouts that wanted to share a couple, you know, kind of what their favorite thing is. I know, Jacob, did you want to share one of your favorite things or some of your favorite things about Cub Scouts?
Yes. I mostly like the Pinewood Derby because we could just like make cars and like race them and see which cars are get to go and which ones can go fast, slow, whatever. And just like also just like everybody cheering on everybody. It's just so fun to see scouts being so happy, and it's just fun.
Great job, Jacob.
Thanks, Jacob.
Easton, did you want to share anything?
My favorite things are probably camping and fishing.
Awesome. Did any of our other scouts want to share anything that's been their favorite? Feel free to raise your hand if you do. Go ahead, Julian. Make sure you unmute.
My favorite thing is going outside in the pool. That's what I just did.
All right. Awesome.
About scouting.
We do have someone else with us. His name is Ed Grun. Ed is an executive with the Capital Area Council, Boy Scouts of America. Ed, do you have a few things you'd like to say about Scouts?
Well, sure. Cub Scouts is a really fantastic program. I really think it's really great. Quick question. How many of y'all, you just like wave or do the little reaction thing or whatever. How many of y'all are brand new, have never been involved in a scouting program before? We got 1, 2, Shanika. I don't know Shanika.
Like Joe also raised her hand as well.
Okay, cool. All right. Well, it is a, oh, there you go. Cool. Well, it's a great program. And honestly, we're all kind of learning how this whole virtual setup is working for all of us. But I think we're all, doing our best, Cub Scout motto. Would I do Cub Scouts right now, even though we can't go traditionally camping or do a lot of the other outdoors stuff right now? Yes, I would. And one of the reasons why is, my kiddo, she is 8 years old, and I think that the opportunity that she has to interact with other kids her age in an outside of school setting is, in that and of itself, is invaluable. It's the best thing. I think that that's so important, but it's a really great program that will change a family dynamic. It will allow you to spend more quality time with your own kiddos. Do I have a minute? Do I have like 5 minutes? Because I can go on. I got the whole tearjerker speech I can give. 1 minute. Okay, I'll save the tearjerker speech then. But yeah, I would absolutely consider it. It's a great program, and instead of when it comes to sports, when it comes to activities with your kids, sports are great. Kids love sports, and there's nothing wrong with sports. It's one of our biggest competitors when it comes to the program side. But when it comes to sports, as a parent, your involvement is typically cheering from the sidelines, which is great, but it is on the sidelines. In Cub Scouts, it's very much you're doing it along with your kiddos. It is a family affair. It's something that you guys can do together as a family, and that I hope you do it as a family. You get out of it what you put into it, and there's a whole lot to get out of it if you choose to spend time with it like that. My name is Ed. I didn't properly introduce myself. I'm the district director for the Blackland Prairie District. Our district serves Pflugerville, Hutto, and Taylor ISD. We are part of the Capital Area Council. The Capital Area Council is the Boy Scout Council that serves Central Texas. We are a independent 501c3 organization, and we serve Travis County, the counties that touch Travis County, and pretty much most of the counties that touch those counties. That's who we are. If you ever have any questions about scouting, about this pack, about that pack, about a Scouts BSA troop, about Venture Crew, about serving as a unit commissioner, popcorn, any of the billion things that we can talk about in scouting, please feel free to reach out anytime. My phone number is 512-944-7753. I'll put that in the chat. But yeah, I work with Carl, I work with Eric, I work with all the leaders. I'm trying to help out any way I can to serve all the units that we have in our district. In our district, we have just under 1,000 kiddos and 26 Cub Scout packs and Boy Scout troops. So that's who we are. That's who I am. I'll put my phone number in the chat and my email too if you have any questions. And I'm glad you're here. And
well, thanks, Ed. Appreciate it. And just to go on, I mean, we'll probably kind of breeze past this next slide, just talking about other things that we do. We have a hiking program. This is actually be one of the first things that your kids get to participate in as scouts. We have basically we can go out to different trails and hike, and we'll socially distance into small groups and kind of build a program for you to walk around but we figured out a way to engage the kids more in a monthly outdoor program that isn't just meetings. Hopefully they're getting out more than just the 1 time or 2 times a month as Cub Scouts, but this is going to give them more of an opportunity. They'll earn hiking sticks, they'll earn medallions to go on the hiking sticks. That's just one of the ways that we'll recognize, and one of the ways we keep our program going year round. I do we have an annual calendar that's already planned out through the month of August. So we're going from September to August 2021 with meeting plans, campouts. I will say that in October the campout's going to be, it's not going to be a camp out. It's going to be a day event, unfortunately. But we have to make some concessions and modify some events. But the best thing that I can say for you is that none of these events, and I was actually emailed by somebody asking me this question, is we're not going to cancel events because of COVID. We will we will modify, we will adapt and have events and make sure our kids are still moving forward. Did you have anything else you wanted to say on that, Eric?
Yeah, just like you said, we'll adapt. We'll do our best just in terms of making sure that we can meet everything, and everybody's safety is obviously the most important thing.
Yeah. And we've got so much green space around here. We can have some meetings where we're spread out and have activities that can be held. I don't think we're going to have any problems doing so. And there'll still be plenty of activities that in advancement work you can do at home as a family and keep the excitement going and give your family something else to do besides schoolwork. It can be some fun hands-on stuff. So our advancement trail is a key part of our scouting program and recognizing our kids. We have, starting in kindergarten, the Lion program, and we go all the way in Cub Scouts to 5th grade, where they earn the Arrow of Light, which is the highest award in Cub Scouting. And those 4th and 5th grade years are actually going to prepare them to go on to Scouts BSA. If you've heard of Boy Scouts of America, you go into the Boy Scouts. We call that program Scouts BSA now because we do have boy and girl troops. And so with that came a new name. But most everyone in here is going to be really in the first 3. We have the kindergartners are Lions, our 1st graders are going to be Tigers, and our 2nd graders are going to be Wolves. All of our 1st and 2nd graders, or 1st grade on up, have to earn the Bobcat rank before they earn all the other ranks. Don't worry, it's easy peasy. It's understanding the Scout Oath, the Scout Law, the Cub Scout motto, the handshake, all the basics of Scouts. Usually they'll earn that, and that'll be the first badge that they earn in the month of September. We can get that probably awarded to most, if not all, of the Cub Scouts at the September PAC meeting. Our Lions, their first badge that they're going to work on is going to be called Lions Honor, and that's kind of basically the same thing. They just need to be able to kind of know what they are, but they don't have to memorize anything. It's all about doing their best. So the Lion Den, just to give you some insights into what to expect from the grade levels. The Lions are going to meet once or twice a month, and then there's also a PAC meeting. It's an introduction to scouting. We want the family participation. What we do with the dens is families alternate and take turns running each den meeting. Their little book comes with a guide. It spells out in great simplicity what to do. And it could be just getting out in the green belt and doing some exercises, understanding what, good nutrition is, or a healthy snack. Why do we rest? That is, the list of requirements for one badge. So, they're going to earn that adventure loop in that meeting, and then we'll alternate so that the families get to understand and participate and work and kind of spread the load out a little bit, and it works great. The uniform and handbook or rather the uniform for Lions is just a t-shirt. So they don't wear the button-up Scout uniform like you see everyone wearing. They can, you're more than welcome. But since it's an introduction, a lot of times you wear the t-shirt, and it's easier for a kindergartner, who's, maybe a little finicky about things anyway. But nah, t-shirt's pretty cool. And then we'll go on to Tigers. So we've got some 1st grade parents in here. Let's see. And Amy, you've got a 1st grader. I think Amy's in here. But what we have with the Tigers, Wolves, and Bears. So that's your 1st, 2nd, and 3rd graders. They're going to meet 2 to 3 times a month. They've got a more complete program. They're going to dive into all the, a little bit deeper dive, but age appropriate in their adventure loops and into their ranks. They're going to have den leaders. So we've got Mr. Matt, and he's he's our Wolf den leader. We've got Mr. Nick Arnold here, who's our Bear den leader. I was the Lion den leader a few years ago, but it's again, all of it is pretty simple and straightforward, and we have guides that they go through and lay it all out. And then the last group, and I'll just touch on it since nobody's in the 4th or 5th grade here right now, but that's, again, the transition to Webelos, We Be Loyal Scouts, as Ed had typed into the chat earlier. That's what the funny word means. But that's to prepare the Scouts and transition them into Scouts BSA. And they start to become more independent and and can take the lead and start building some leadership skills. It's you, Eric.
So none of this could actually take place without having the leaders that Carl had mentioned in there. And the parents are really the source of that leadership and the manpower of the PAC. This is a complete volunteer organization. Nobody is paid to be able to be in a leadership position. So it's even more important that we have the parents that are of the Scouts involved as part of this. So the parents are really kind of asking to participate in as well as encourage their Scouts in their advancement. So participating in the different activities and the adventures that the Scouts are doing to make sure that they're being engaged or that they are engaged as part of the Scouts organization. And then volunteering also really allows you to lead by an example and the impact, the quality time that you have with your child. I know in the last year, Jacob and I had a ton of fun just doing the different adventure loops inside the Tiger activity. And we're very much looking forward to the next level for the Wolves. And you've heard a couple of the names inside the leadership of the PAC: Matt Turner, Nick Arnold, Jared Wellham, myself, Eric Barner, Eric Gosser. He is our popcorn colonel. So he's the one that's in charge of all of the sales with Trails End. Makes it pretty easy this year since we're not doing any of the individual kind of show and sells. Everything is going to be online for that. Hari Patel, Albert Sanchez, Cody Long, as well as the Cub Master Carl Guthrie there. So all of this with the leaders, always you want to make sure that everybody is staying safe. So every Scout does deserve a trained leader who is aware of what they're going to be doing and making sure that the safety of the Scouts are involved and of the most kind of paramount. So the training is really ensuring that there are quality programs for the children, and really it makes sure that the den leaders are aware of how to keep the meetings fun as well as exciting. There's also a program called Youth Protection Training, range masters for the BB guns, the archery, water safety requirements anytime that swimming is going to be involved. So we make sure that BSA is providing the guidance and the resources to ensure the safety and protection of the individual Scouts.
And then everyone always, obviously we're curious, what's the cost of scouting? And, it's an annual program. So this is a 12-month year-round program. The dues, and the PAC is going to have dues so that we can operate. And we also have annual Boy Scouts of America registration fee. So in total, it's $130 plus New Scouts as a one-time $25 joining fee. And that's going to cover registration. That covers accident insurance. We do have the PAC 130 t-shirt. So I don't know how well this shows up on everybody's, but this is our PAC t-shirt that everyone gets. And again, some program fees to help us with meeting supplies and so forth. We do sell popcorn. I'll talk about that in a minute to help with other costs. But the other costs that you'll run into that will hold is you'll have a handbook for the Scout. There's always the uniform cost, and then we'll have food costs with like campouts and if you do decide you want to go to some special council sponsored events like summer day camp or summer resident camp and different things throughout the year, each of those events may cost $15, $20, $30 just depending on what it is. And then Scouts does have a really great magazine. It's called Boys Life. One day, hopefully, fingers crossed, because we're co-ed now, they're going to change that name. They're working on it. It's not easy, but that subscription is an optional $18. There's no requirement for that. We also do, in case you need or someone who's interested in scouting, but finances may be a problem. We don't want money to get in the way of someone enjoying and participating and developing themselves through the scouting program. So there are camperships, uniform assistance, membership assistance that we have both directly through our own PAC and from the Capital Area Council to help with. And so with it's you, Eric, on popcorn.
Yeah, so as you may be aware, Scouts very much makes their money as they're dealing with the not making the money, but raising the funds man, to be able to pay their own way for some of the fees that Carl had just talked about. by selling popcorn. So the Trails End is the organization that we are working with to sell that popcorn. And selling, of course, this year is going to look a little bit different, but the popcorn sales are very important to Scouts. Typically, we would do what's called the show and sells. This is where we go out in the pictures that you see there on the screen, where you go out to a storefront or a local restaurant where you're actually selling inventory. And what that does for the Scout is it starts to grow some of their confidence in just talking to other people and being able to sell popcorn to people as they're walking in and out of the stores or the restaurants. I remember Jacob and Jackson last year were working at the Texas Roadhouse, and there was a guy who made it about halfway across the parking lot, and Jacob ended up calling him back and selling probably about $30 of popcorn to him. So Jacob just came out of his shell, just being able to sell popcorn, becoming more confident in himself. So the popcorn sale is important for the Scouts in terms of being able to raise some of the money for the requirements that are there, but also instilling that value of confidence in the individual Scouts.
And just to reiterate, I mean, it's about Jackson, I think Easton, and a few other, Julian. I mean, these are Scouts that have paid their annual registration fees for this year by selling popcorn last year. So you can definitely, you know, not have to eat these costs. And you know, I just thought I'd, you know, share. Jackson has you can even set up a little web page for your kids' site. You know, and they can sell popcorn to their friends and family online. So what's next? So we're gonna do Q&A here. Just make sure if you have any questions. Eric, do you have any questions in the chat that have come through?
No, I've been watching. There hasn't been any questions that have come in.
All right, cool. What we're gonna do and how you can register, we can easily do it by email, and you can pay via credit card through a service that we have called Cheddar Up. And you'll get an email after this meeting to where you can actually register and email the app. The reason why we do it this way rather than online registration that BSA has is you'd have to pay twice if you did it that way because of the way it divides up the money. But I also am going to set up shop in the parking lot of Mott Elementary School on Saturday morning at 9 a.m. If you'd like to come by and meet in person and talk and register there, we can handle, you know, cash, check, or charge there as well. So I'll be there at 9 a.m. on Saturday morning. So either of those two ways works.
All right, we did just have a question. How long is the registration period?
You can register anytime. Yeah, there's never a time. I mean, we want your Scout to join the program this month. You know, well, I say this month, we're end of August, but within the first few weeks of September, you know, or by the end of September, because they can work with their den and kind of be on the same page as everybody as they work through the program.
I'm sorry, I was maybe confusing. When I pay my registration fees, how long is that good for? I mean,
oh, your registration fees are going to cover you for the next, you know, you'll be a member of Scouting for the next 18 months. Because we have to recharter every January, so we get a year and a half. What's next? Again, register. We do have our first meeting. Den meetings are going to start taking place in the next 2 weeks. Lions, more than likely, we're going to meet on what was it? Thursday the 10th, September the 10th at probably 6:30. Usually people want to put their kindergartners to bed, not keep them up to, you know, past 8 if they can help it. So that's been a good meeting time for us. But we'll get the input of all the families before that's set. You'll get to pick your den meeting times and even the date if that needs to change. Our PAC meeting is September 17th. So we'll have a PAC meeting on the 17th. That's everybody. But most importantly, you know, come out and have a hike with us. On September 5th is our first hike of the new year, the new Scouting year. We're actually going to do the Heritage Loop Trail. We'll start local. We'll use it as an educational event for Scouts that are new to hiking. It's right in Pflugerville. It's more of an urban hike, so we're not gonna go deep into the woods and twist ankles. It's paved, so it's gonna be nice and easy. And we'll meet at the Pflugerville Rec Center and jump on the loop trail that starts right there. So going into Eric, or you got anything else you want to add?
Yeah, there was the one question that came in just in terms of the expected cost on the uniform. It is anywhere from $30 to $60 depending on which type of uniform. There's different materials for the shirt. There's shorts, there's pants, etc. All of that can be purchased over at the Scout Shop, which is just on the south side of Palmer and 35. So one of the things I'll look up and type in the address in the chat window as well.
And that's also if you buy new. I encourage people to check out uniform closets. Also, a lot of thrift stores. You can generally find uniforms. Also, if there's a need, ask for help. Like with the registration stuff, make sure that cost is not a barrier to participation. So we'll help you out with a uniform if you need help.
What other questions? Feel free if you want to unmute and talk, or if you want to type it in. I did see about the Bobcat. Yeah, so there's not a Bobcat Den. It's just the first rank. It's that introductory. So every scout other than Lions will earn that first, but they'll, based on their age group, they'll be in either the Tiger, the Wolf, or the Bear Den. Cool. Again, I will email and follow up with everyone after this. Hopefully we were able to answer your questions. You know, we've got some great scouts. We'd love to have some more and have a great time. And I think we can have a blast even when, you know, get past this COVID thing. And email me, text me. All of you have probably gotten information gotten the emails from me in the last few days. So we'll look forward to seeing you. Maybe Saturday, if you want to come stop by and see me, I'll be there definitely from 9 to 9:30. And then we, again, have that hike on September 5th. So thank you, everybody. Have a good night. I'll stick right here in case you want to ask anything. Appreciate y'all.
Where are y'all going hiking on the 5th?
The Heritage Loop Trail. So it's just right here in Pflugerville. It's like a 3-mile loop that goes kind of around the neighborhood. So what I'm thinking, I haven't talked to the other guys about it, but what we would do is probably do it in groups of 10, kind of like how y'all doing that Cub Scout camping thing at Tom Wooten. Just kind of do small groups, but give them a paper of things, maybe earn Bobcat or work on Bobcat as they go around.
This is why you need to take your medicine, Docky.
So that one should be good. Cool. Any questions? All right, everybody. Well, y'all have a good night.